There. You got it.
Hi there.
Hey, everybody.
It's us again.
It is us.
It's July.
It is.
We had a fabulous Canada Day. Yay. Go Canada.
It was. I spent most of the day out in the garden. We were really deadheading.
Yes, I got your pictures.
Yes, it was. So, we all know that, we've been dealing with doing a lot of nutrition into the ground with the mushroom manure and everything else like that. My potatoes, because potatoes tend to mound on the bottom,
right.
with the thing. They are 4 to 5 feet tall. And now they're becoming top heavy with all these things. But they grew so much and so fast that they're covering the peas and the beans that didn't grow as fast or whatever.
They're in containers, though, your potatoes, right?
Well, they're in beds.
Oh, okay.
They're in raised beds. No. And so I spent most of yesterday kind of trimming and cleaning out the bottom because they were so compact in there. Even if you tried watering them, there was no water getting underneath there. So I searched out and did a thing and found a potato farmer. He says this is who does potatoes in containers. And he says he needs to kind of do this to so we thinned them out, and I found pea plants and bean plants, and some of my peas have little pods and some of my beans have little beans. So, and now they're going to see the light.
Any treats? Any strawberries, raspberries?
Strawberries. I've picked some strawberries, and I got some raspberries, and I got 1 carrot. I think someone pulled it up. And then I pulled potato out of where my carrots are growing because we have potatoes growing everywhere because Ramon from 2 years ago. So once you get potato seeds or the potato peelings in your soil, they grow everywhere. Because apparently when Ramon, our strawberry planters, the new ones, he took soil from the raised garden beds that we had where he had done that with the potatoes. So I was cleaning up the strawberries yesterday, and there was 4 planters that had a potato growing in it. And I'm like, so I had to pull those. But yeah, so we got some strawberries. When I pulled a potato out from where I didn't want it, there was a little baby potato. So I have a baby potato. Lettuce is growing crazy, so we've been eating, a lot of lettuce. I was going to bring you some. I forgot. I'll bring it tomorrow, maybe, or Friday.
You're here on Friday?
I'll just bring you some lettuce.
Oh, okay. All right.
Because I'm nice like that.
Absolutely.
I'm just nice like that.
Hello, everybody. Guess who? It's Wednesday, and this is your weekly dose with Deborah
and Lori.
Okay, so here we go. We're off. The demo sale. It has been extended.
Ooh.
So if you were hoping to get something under those demo prices, now's the time to come in, have a look, check it out, see what's there for you.
Yep. So we've got that. Just a heads up. So we have Kimberbell Day coming up at the end of this month. Okay, so for those who've signed up, guess what? We have another place for you to sign up for. If you haven't signed up yet, you need to sign up. This is going to be fun. So Kimberbell does a live demo or a live production from their place in Utah from our time, 8 in the morning until about 11. And they've got lots of prizes and lots of fun, and they're going to demo a few things, and you get a free design. But in order to get the free design, you have to register on Kimberbell's website, because then they will send you the design. Right. Then you need to, if you're going to come join us, because we've got fun, we've got treats, we've got coffee for those who need it that early in the morning. And then Carrie and I are going to be here, and so it's going to be lots of fun. Then you need to register so we know you're coming. And then our wholesaler, Jane Harper, is going to do a prize pack for their stores. And so it's for the Canadian customers. And so, but you need to register on their website in order to get added to that draw. So if you've already registered, go back into the website. Carrie's going to get the link up under the Kimberbell Day. So you'd click on that. It's Jane Harper. Click on that and get registered. If you haven't registered yet, then just your little checklist. Kimberbell, check. Tom Sewing, check. Jane Harper, check. So you know that you're doing 3 different places. Okay. Now, do you have to register at all places? No. If you don't want the free design, you don't have to register on Kimberbell. If you don't want the prizes from Jane Harper, you don't have to register there. If you don't want to come see us, sorry, that kind of hurt a little.
It did. I see that.
You don't have to register with us. It just depending on what you want to take and do. But if you want to have a blast that day and just get lots of things, then you want to register in all 3 places.
Start out your weekend here at Tom's.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Exactly.
I'm looking for some cool recipes for some morning stuff to do.
Oh,
or some
date squares. Sorry, she did say it in front of me. Okay, that's right.
Maybe
date squares with tea, coffee. You know, like it goes well.
I'm not a
Date. It's good for you. Oatmeal. It's breakfast. She's looking at me like it's a foreign concept, but that's okay.
That's okay.
And next week.
Oh, yes, next week. You have to tune in next week.
We have a very, very special video that I am so excited for and looking forward to. So, yeah, you have to join us for that one.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I do apologize to everyone who anxiously waited last week for our posting of Weekly Dose that went up really late. It was the computer was giving me stress for about like 3.5, 4 hours. So, yeah, I did try. I was so just, yeah.
Okay. Alrighty. Now, classes.
Okay.
Surger 3, Surger 1 and 2, they're full. Surger 1, the second class, is also full. Surger 3, there's a couple of spots left, and that runs on July the 22nd. You should have taken level 1 and 2 if you're registering in the 3. It's helpful. They just flow. They kind of all go together. The Bargello for here on July the 12th, there's only 2 spots left. So if you were thinking about it, I had somebody call last week about getting into one of the classes and it was just too late. She left it too long. So sometimes when you see it, get your name in there. So there's 2 spots with the Bargello, and that's running on July the 12th.
I was just looking up a date. Stitch
and Chatter this month for July is the 17th here in Surrey and the 19th in Chilliwack. The Siesta Fiesta. Now, this is a really fun thing for your kids if they do sleepovers at grandma's or aunts and uncles, and they can kind of take you have a habit of watching your movies in the living room on the floor. This would be great. They've got their own little blanket, little mini sleeping bag kind of thing that rolls up into a pillow, so they don't even have to use it as that. It's really cute, and it would be a fun project. You could even maybe get your budding seamstress or sewer to work alongside of you with that.
The sample for that one and the
Bargello?
No, is that the tree?
No, I haven't got this tree.
Yeah. Well, that one.
Sorry.
I was going to say, those samples are up on the wall.
Yes, they are.
We couldn't pull them down. They get annoyed when we keep sending them up and down for things.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Why would you not want to continually
climb up and down the ladder?
Down the ladder. I don't know.
So you got to.
I don't do it, but
so yeah, come check out the demo machines for sale. Come check out fabric. Come check out those. So
the Learn to Use Your Sewing machine is July the 24th. I think there's 2 spots left. Now, if you bought the machine from us, you need to call and we will register you in the class because it's no charge to you. If you have a machine from elsewhere, you can register online and get your spot. There's only 2 openings, I think, or could be 1. But and it'll be a couple of months before that's run again. So, and that's here in Surrey. Now, one of the I was looking at the calendar last week for what she's going to show you in a second, trying to figure out how I could take this class. It's an in-person class. I'm not here. But I was sitting there looking at the calendar going, now how can I take this class? I'm not going to be here. But hey, I can do the second one. So it's August the 8th, I think, for the tile scene.
When do you leave?
July the 30th.
Why was I thinking you were leaving in August?
I have no idea. I come back in August. I know, right? There you go. Anyway.
I know a guy.
We could probably work something out.
Okay, so this is the tile scene, isn't it? Oh. There we go. You got to check this out.
Yes.
So they're OESD. They're amazing. Like this, just you gotta come see this in person if you haven't seen it already. There are other ones. So if this one doesn't, float your boat.
I want to do one of the Santas, but and that's what I would be doing.
You could do any of the other ones because the concept is the same.
Absolutely.
But this is just the new one. And each one that they do, if you look at the very first tile scenes, they're very basic.
Yeah.
But each one that they've gotten, there's more detail, more texture. Like this one, if you hold it flat, you can see like the level. That's just amazing. So we're going to be doing that one. The other one I wanted to show, I've started the samples. So there's the pumpkin, the freestanding lace pumpkin. So if you want anything to do or learn, if you're new with embroidery or whatever, with freestanding lace or 3-dimensional objects, this one is going to be so cool. So there's 6 designs in there, and they're very versatile that you can take them to be fun and whimsical to very elegant. So this one here, I don't know if you can see the colors. This is just kind of the start. Well, no, goes this way because it's got to go this way. If you go back to Weekly Doses last summer, you'll see the table runner that we did from, I think it was Sweet Pea. Was it Designs by Juju? I don't remember. It was a year ago. I don't remember yesterday. So, these are the kind of the color tones that we did, and so now I'm going to make a few pumpkins to kind of match it. So
okay, so I have a question.
Yes.
With these, can you, like, I know this is this organza?
Yes.
Okay, so this will stay.
Yes.
And this will
the wash away.
This is the wash away. Okay, so then when you finish with it, you're going to put a light or something inside here, and then it's just, that'll be so cool.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice.
That'll be really cute.
If you're interested in taking this, you've got to register early because there is a special tool that you need, and it's called from OESD they're called, I think, alligator clamps are the other one. Oh, now I'm totally blanking on the thing, but it's a cool tool. So you'll need time to order that. And I'll show you how to use it.
You have to put it together.
Yes, because you'll need it to put it together. And that's kind of where the tricky part with this is. And so we are really going to cover that in class, because I'm going to have lots of extra pieces, because you won't have your sewn in class, because these take about an hour to sew out.
Yeah.
So I will have extra pieces, so we will have a chance to practice in class putting these things together. I just won't just say, and use this tool to do this. You will get to practice. Okay. So
on to our demo for
today.
On to
our demo today. And Deborah's going to have like heart failure. Okay. So, excuse me. We're talking about cutting straight and making sure your fabric is proper or prepared, ready for. Okay. So I'm going to show you how I kind of get my fabric ready. Now, this is where we're coming from. I didn't do a lot of quilting to begin with. Okay. It is always kind of been embroidery. Mm-hmm. And the embroidery machine has a lot of forgiveness to it.
Oh, absolutely. And
okay,
the concept of the designs have forgiveness.
Even when you're doing a block and you're putting it down because you're stabilizing, it don't matter like whatever the fabric. So I have developed a system that I use, and now I'm transferring that same system over to doing quilting, and I'm finding there's some issues. I can't troubleshoot, so Deborah's going to help me troubleshoot them a little bit. She just she didn't even have to see it, and she's got the I'm giving her heart failure. Okay, and this is the other thing is where I got the system from is I was watching a while back, like quite a while back, a YouTube video, and there's nothing necessarily wrong with YouTube. Hello, we're doing YouTube. But the thing is what we forget is when we're showing something, we don't know the skill level of who's watching this, and there's a lot of things that we do on muscle memory that we just know because someone has told us, and now it's part of what we do, and we don't really stop and think going, oh, somebody new too or whatever may not know this. And so we end up with all these holes. So today we're going to hopefully try and fill or fix some of these holes, and because you don't know what you don't know, and so you don't know what questions to ask. And so I'm going to show you, we're going to get here our little film person. So she's going to take the camera. Why don't you come behind us? And
we have a filmographer today.
Yes. And so what we're going to take and do, so you can see, I'm going to flip this around. Okay. So take and come and stand behind us, and then you can see what we're doing, and then you can see. Okay. So what I take and do with, but then we're going to miss her facial expressions, but that's okay. Okay, so I come to the store and I buy fabric. Isn't it beautiful? I'm like,
it's lovely.
If you know, this was the stuff that was on sale for a little bit.
Right.
I would have bought it when it was on sale, but I already had pretty much all the colors.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I come to the store and I usually buy a meter. Doesn't matter how much, unless I know for a specific project, and then I buy more. But I always buy a meter because if I like it, I'm going to use it. Okay. Come home. I don't have a lot of desk space or cutting space, so I lay it out. And then on my shelves, I have it so it lays nicely in my shelves. So I fold this up. Try and make it straight, but. And then I cut it. This is my little template. So I do this, and so it's all roughly about the same length. I know you're having.
It's okay. I'm good. I'm good.
And then I do this, and I wrap it up like this, okay? And then it goes on my shelf, and so I pull this out, and then all my colors, like some of my pinks, but see how they all fit nicely on my shelf. So this works.
A great way to store it.
And it's a great way to store it. But like I said, when I was doing embroidery, I just would cut off a piece here and there, and it is very forgiving. It's usually a little piece of an applique, or it's going to be this or that. So when I started taking and doing quilting, so then again, I don't have a lot of space. I've put this on there. I don't do laundry, so no, I don't pre-wash, and that's a whole other issue. We ain't getting into that one. And then if I want a piece of fabric, like let's say, breathe, Deborah, breathe. Everyone else who sees me doing this, breathe, it's okay. So then I will, like 3 inches, and then I'll cut my 3 inches and go there, or my 8 inches, and so I'm like, oh. Yes, I've done it that way, going like this. Okay, 8 inches, right there, cut, dang it! I was born blonde for a reason. I know, right now, but hey. So, 8 inches, and I'm like, I knew I'd get out. Like, no, I'm a little bit more precise than that, but you get the point. Okay, so what ends up happening then is sometimes the cuts look great.
You get this.
But most of the time I get this, and I don't know if it really shows well, but it's not straight, and she's going to point out a few other things that I didn't know.
So, and the way you can tell that it wasn't on the grain when you cut it is if you go like this, and there's that much give, it was not on the grain.
Okay, So, and I'm gonna ask. I really am. I'm gonna ask dumb questions sometimes
That's okay.
because I don't necessarily didn't or don't.
Yeah.
But there are people who really don't
Right.
because they're learning this stuff.
Yeah.
What is the importance of cutting on the grain?
Well, that is the stablest direction of the fabric. And for some things it doesn't matter. Applique, no. Embroidery, I'm not that precise for when I'm making an embroidery block either, because that's not where it's essential, because you're putting like a presto on the back and you're putting it on a stabilizer. It's just not that necessary. For a quilt I come from the garment first, that's what I did. And back in the day, they would show you, and I already checked to make sure this wasn't a good piece before I'm going to show you this, how you would find that. You're going to start to, you either pull it away this way, start pulling all of this fabric, all of these things that are coming off like this, because you can already see how out of line it is. And you would take that all the way until you had it straight, or you would make a little snip here and pull it apart a little bit and pull out your that thread until you got it in. That is where you would start to take your grain coming down to make sure it's straight. You don't have to be quite that precise anymore. But if you were taking, like when you take your fabric off, like great storage idea, I like it, and I'm definitely going to implement this at home.
Oh, you should. On my bully bookcases, I can get a ton of fabric because then I stack it this way, and then smaller pieces. I have a little smaller one.
I'll take a bigger piece to show you how to find your straight. So you would take it, you would completely open it up, at least this way, and then you can. A quicker way of checking this is you can take on your fold, and if there's a lot of give, which there is not here, then it's pretty close. It's pretty close. But, and then in order to, if I was going to, I want to take a 2-inch strip, let's say. I'm going to, just so that my arms don't have to go quite so far. First off, I would straighten this, like take a nice straight cut. Minimal, but like get your straight like this. You can see it's off, right? Like there's a little bit more here than there is on the line. Make that, and that's your first straight one. That's number 1. And then you can, if you want a 2-inch strip, from that cut, you would do 2. Let's say you're doing 10, 20 2-inch strips. You're not going to just go all the way along and do 20. No, you're not. I would do a couple, 3, no more than 4. And then I would take it out, do it all over again. Because you can, if you do a lot of them, that's when you get the points and the dips. When you take them out and you look at them and it's like, oh.
I get waves.
Yeah, see, and that's where the waves come from. By making too many strips without repositioning your fabric and doing that all over again. Okay, making another nice straight edge and then do a few more. And it takes a few more minutes, but the finish, like you put so much time and effort
and that's
into
when I
these
find
things.
that when you're getting close to the end, you're trying to put your project together, and then so it may take a few more extra minutes here, and maybe you're shaving off.
Yeah.
But when you go to start sewing that quilt then together, those blocks aren't going together. They're not laying flat.
That's right.
You're getting, your top looks like. You're sewing your 1/4 inch and everything looks fine, and then you flip it over and there's that little dip, and so now you've missed that 1/4 inch, and so you end up with holes in your project. Not that I would know any of this.
Or your points don't match, or
Yeah.
And the more seams in your block, the more difficult it becomes if you didn't do the straightening as you go through. If it's just one straight block and you're matching it up to another 10-inch block, that's easy to do. You can adjust it. But when you've got seams in there, like even if you're off an eighth, not a 16th of an inch, but you got 10 blocks, that's a lot.
See, where I really noticed that there's an issue with cutting, and like I said, when it was never an issue with embroidery, it's just now that I'm starting to get more into quilting and doing those kind of things, was when I took the flying geese.
Yes.
Okay, so the concepts that Rita taught in there are amazing, and we were able to pop off those flying geese like crazy. It was so super simple, but I was having so much inconsistency with those things. I did exactly the same thing, and there was so many inconsistencies, and Rita's kind of like, she was even a little perplexed. Well, that's what I did. I prepped all my fabric. I sat there and I needed 12 strips of this. I sat down how I have it.
Yeah.
And so by what you're showing or whatever, basically each time, so I'm going, just each strip would have been that much more off the grain, off the grain, off the grain, until it's, and so that's why everything would have been wonky, because I'm not sewing on the grain, and I didn't give it that stability to begin with.
Yeah, and like I said, like with some things, the grain is essential. Garment, absolutely. There's just no way it'll hang properly. It's all. That's why sometimes when you buy something really, really cheap and you put it on and it kind of hangs like this, that's why it wasn't put together on the grain. And so because it's going to try to hang, but it has the memory of the grain, and so it's there. And you just make use of it. And I'm not suggesting that you sit there and because we just don't do that anymore. But make it as easy as possible to do that. I mean, if I was tailoring a jacket, yes, I would definitely start that way. Like a wool jacket or something, and the wool was, $40 a meter. Yeah, I'm definitely doing that. But for something that's a little less expensive and not going to last a lifetime, no.
All right.
Just little helpful hints.
Little helpful hints. All right, we'll take this and we'll flip this back around. All right.
And say filmography.
Yes, it makes it so much easier when you have a second pair of hands during the thing.
I'm going to have to send her out to buy me lunch today. She's being brute.
So... super tip on storage, because it is, I got that piece, you can just get core plastic, a piece of cardboard, whatever.
Yeah.
Measure the depth of your
the unit
yeah. So in my case, the Billy Book case, and then how wide you want them. So whatever it is. So if it's this, and I want to get 8 rows in them, then I would say, okay, divide that by 8. And then, so I know how thick to make it. And then, then you just roll it, and I get so much fabric. It works best with half a meter, a meter and up.
Yeah.
Smaller ones, I do smaller, a little more square pieces. But yeah.
Yeah, good ideas. I like the idea. And like you say, I will implement that as soon as I can start organizing my home again.
Yeah, floods are not fun. I really do.
Not. Yeah.
And not.
It's been quite an inconvenience this time, I have to say. More so than the previous time.
It's always an inconvenience.
Yeah. Well, yes, absolutely. But this one's, extended.
Yeah. So if you have, there's, so those are some tips, because like I said, I was noticing, and I'm not getting consistencies, and I knew it had to do with
the original cut.
With the original cut. And as we were talking earlier, see, my brain goes, well, if it's, cutting, getting it from the store, it's got to be straight, whatever, coming off the bolt or whatever. But you made a very good point. That doesn't always go on the bolt straight. So even though we're cutting it here straight and everything else like that, it could still be slightly off because it didn't go on the bolt straight.
I always buy, if a pattern says I need a meter, I add at least 10%. to the purchase, because for starters, especially in a fabric that's going to shrink, there's shrinkage. It's not going to be 100% straight off the bolt, because bear in mind that bolt has been picked up and moved and touched and opened and cut off of more than once, but very likely. So things shift. It happens. So these are, in the case of a cotton, it's going to shift. So yeah.
So now I know, because I have had a few people sit there and say, oh well, they iron or they wash their fabric and then they iron it and then they put it, and then they fold it, all this. I don't have time for that. B, I don't like washing, and I don't like
well, that was
ironing
step one
or pressing.
We missed. Press it first before you cut.
Oh, do we need to do that?
Yes.
But if I do it this way, it's like...
Okay. If there's a little bit of a wrinkle in there, you've already got something that isn't straight
okay,
down.
Okay, so when would I iron it?
Just before you cut.
But if it's rolled onto the thing, so how would I...
Okay, well, open that again.
Okay, she's going to show us, so I'm going to flip this around again.
How many lines do you see there in that fabric?
It's part of the fabric.
Every one of them can cause a wrinkle when you cut. Well, you can even feel it.
Well, yeah, okay. But see, I put these ones in, and it's the opposite direction.
It doesn't matter.
I'm really giving her stress. Just
pick up your presser.
Okay.
You bought the fancy little mini press, just
I do.
like I did. So see that if you tried to cut through this, you've got a point. So just press it out. It's like,
so I wouldn't have to iron the whole thing first, just unravel some a little bit.
okay, so that what you're cutting has already been nicely pressed. It's nice and smooth.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, because I don't know how I work with it. But the thing is, I work here, and we've learned a lot with doing things, but like I said, I come from the embroidery side, and embroidery has a lot of...
There's a lot of forgiveness.
There's a lot of forgiveness. And it is when you start going into the thing, and I'm like, and way I grew up, really a lot of it is figure it out. Figure it out.
Yes.
I didn't have a mom who quilted or anything else like that. My grandmother did, but I didn't live in the same city as my grandmother did. And so I didn't have anyone around, and so, or just anything I wanted to do, I had to figure it out on my own. And so that is just the way I am. I'm just like, okay, just jump in and I figure it out. I look here and I look there and stuff. But what I am finding is, I probably Googled how to cut fabric, and I probably got like 400 videos.
Yeah, you probably
I got a ton of them. None of them really were the same. There were all these different things, but a lot of them really didn't cover. It talked about make sure you're cutting on the grain. Okay, well, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Like, really? So when you're sitting there saying, okay, this, and this is what the grain is, and this is how you find it, and all those kind of things, we want to make sure that we are kind of filling in those holes, because a lot of times when you Google, you don't get those holes filled in. We do it on muscle memory.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so if you have any questions, just come on in.
Yeah.
And, or comment on here, and we'll see if we can help, but yeah.
We'll do our best.
All right.
Because that's all we're
I
doing.
lost my pen. All right.
She lost her pen.
Well, I need it because I've got short
I know.
arms. Short arms. Have a great week. We will talk to you guys next week. Remember, you guys always need to
tune in.
Tune in,
definitely next week.
It's us. But next week, you definitely want it. It's going to be lots of fun.
Yeah.
And we are looking forward to... Should we give them a little hint that it's a road? It's a road trip. It's going to kick me now.
Well, no,
All right.
video.
Anyways, have Have a great week. We will see you guys next week.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.